Versa best company.
Versa business system.
It's a better
Versa business system.
Versa business system.
Welcome to the Versa Business Tips Podcast. I'm your host, founder and CEO of Versa Business Systems, Shaheen Mazloom. We're here with author Sarah Hubbard today. She's the founder and CEO of multiple companies and just wrote this amazing book that just came out 2 days ago called The Intentional Networker. You know, we all know networking is, it's everything, right? Your network is your net worth. So, Sarah, thanks for joining us today. I'm excited to jump into this topic with you.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
I appreciate that. So for those out there that don't know who you are and what you do, tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I'm originally from the East Coast. I'm a New Jersey person, moved to Denver, Colorado. I've been out here for 15 years. And when I came out here, I immersed myself in a brand new business in residential mortgage financing. Went 2 feet in, did all the things, and then started working networking into my business plan of marketing because I realized that sending direct mailers and waiting for my phone to ring did not align with anything of my personality of who I am. Plus, I was like $60,000 in debt, and I was like, this stinks. I got to go out and find another way to do this.
All right.
When I went out to start networking, I didn't realize how crowded of an industry mortgages, residential mortgage financing was, first and foremost. Yeah. And two, how terrible of a reputation a lot of us have out there with just the reputation of we only want to take, we're not givers, there's tons of us, so what makes you different, da 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 da. And so as I started learning how to do this, getting the right referral partners and using my network and my skill of people and being curious about them, I realized that I kind of had a superpower here, and I was actually, my value add to most of my referral partners and even clients that would come to me was teaching them how to leverage their network and not just go out there and do networking because you're supposed to do it or it feels good, but actually getting ROI from your efforts, because that's first and foremost what we're all out to do.
Definitely.
And if we are out there and we're putting our time and effort in, we're not seeing return. This is why everybody's like, it doesn't work. It takes too long. And sometimes we see people that are very introverted. I interviewed a boatload of introverts for my book, by the way, because I originally wrote it and I'm like, this is super easy for me. And people were like, well, how do I actively listen? And I'm like, so we need to get more granular here. And so basically what I've done is I've grown a very successful mortgage career over the last 15 years. 85% of my business comes from networking and relationships, not just here in Colorado, but nationwide. And I just have a really strong passion of teaching people how to do this so it aligns with them and actually gets ROI. And some of it is stuff we hear every day, but a little bit more of an explanation of how to actually implement it into your life. Not just be authentic and take this word and hope that it means something. I'm going to give you tips and tricks on actually how to be your authentic self, how to put down your phone, how to ask great questions, how to actively listen. And I do interweave some AI into those things to help make our time and efforts be a little bit more effective, because we don't have all the time in the world as CEOs and entrepreneurs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the one thing that, that we can't buy more of, right? Is time. So if we can utilize our time effectively, that's what we're all looking to do. So, doing anything obviously intentionally is super important. As far as networking, now is this book geared to more people that are, going to networking events, or is it, for the online person that's looking to network online? Is it a bit of both? Is it for the random person trying to network when they're at the grocery store? Like, give me an idea of like who this book is for. You mentioned that it, definitely help, the introverts. But give me a little bit more of the juice. I'm gonna definitely read it because I think networking is the most important thing.
It is. When I've
You know.
talked to, sorry to interrupt, when I've
No,
talked
yeah.
to some of the most successful people that have grown multiple businesses and different facets of business and have scaled from, 6 figures to 8 figures, I always ask them, hey, what was your recipe for success? It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
And they all come back to their network and relationships first and
100%.
foremost. So
Every single time.
every time. And I think it's lost on a lot of people where they're like, well, why would I want to network with another mortgage professional? Or why would I want to network with somebody that's not even going to fuel my business? I say this with a lot of grace in regards to you just never know when you will need that person or
100%.
their network that they know, because that is what I think people miss is just because that one person may not fuel your business right then and there doesn't mean they can't fuel it 6 months or 12 months from now, or you have
Exactly.
no idea who they know. And that's what we're leveraging
100%.
next step and next step and next step. So the book itself, I wrote it in regards to originally kind of people that are in a business to consumer role, but quite frankly, it's meant for people that are going to conferences, that are doing a lot of, I consider online networking like I'm meeting people all over the world that I never
Yeah.
would have met in person because I don't live here in Denver, Colorado. So
Right.
these are all tips and tricks for the massive, be intentional when you're walking into an event with 2,000 plus people, to all the way to having a coffee, or I play softball and playing, like having to how to insert that conversation of what you do
Right.
professionally without feeling like a salesperson. So
Yeah.
it kind of covers the gamut of all of those.
Right.
But really in the professional state is where I say most of my tips and tricks are most
Right.
applicable.
And trying to do it naturally, I think, is super important, right? Like nobody wants to, talk to that person like, oh man, every time they see he just brings up business. All he wants to do is talk about business, right? And I think there's a way I know there's a way to do it to where it isn't salesy and it is just a natural conversation. Because at the end of the day, like if you're able to provide value to someone or their network or whatever, it's of value, right? Like they want, they want to have that value. I tell my sales guys all the time, it doesn't matter if they're a 3-year-old or a 95-year-old. Every single person that you run into is an opportunity for a sale or a referral, right? Like it doesn't matter who you are, there's an opportunity for a referral, even if they aren't a business owner themselves, right? We obviously sell B2B. So if they're not a business owner, everybody knows business owners. Everybody frequents businesses on a regular basis, right? Like
Yes.
there's not a single person out there that couldn't be of value, and vice versa, that you can be of value to them. So I love that. So what would you say that most people are missing? You mentioned taking advantage of not just your network, but your network's network. Is there anything else that you think a lot of people are missing when it comes to networking?
I would pinpoint it to 2 things that I am most passionate about of the framework that I've created that's in my book. The 2 things that I think really make or break your networking efforts. First and foremost, we hear the word authenticity being thrown around left and
Yeah.
right. It's hard now with AI coming out. We don't know what's real, what's a person, what's a robot, whatever. AI is a
Right.
beautiful tool, guys, but authenticity in my mind also is curiosity. You have to go in curious about that person. I can't tell you how many times people come into conversations with me and they're like, you look like you're 12, you're a woman, you do residential mortgage financing. And I'm like, cool, I'm 41, I'm a mom, I love softball, I'm a foodie. Like there's so much more that makes up all of us as not only business owners, but as humans.
Right.
And so if you're going to go in and not be open-minded and curious, you're already cutting your nose short in regards to who that person is and
Right.
who they know.
Yeah.
It is the key and the magic for everything. If you are not comfortable working a room, or you're like, I don't know, I just going in with a room of 50, heck no, I'm going to be white knuckling my drink in the corner. God, this is terrible. I never want to do this. If you can arm yourself with a good 5 or 10 questions and speak to 2 or 3 people and get them talking about themselves, because they will. People
Yep.
love talking about themselves.
Yes.
Ask a couple good questions and you're an exceptional active listener. You will build trust faster than you will even know what to do with yourself. You could walk
Yep.
out that room and be like, that person's not really quite for me. That's okay. Not everybody has to be, but
Right.
you are building trust and a great reputation
Yep.
out there as a professional by doing that first simple thing, by being curious and listening.
Yep.
The second piece is the follow up or follow through. I remember I was at a conference when I first started my sales career in mortgages about 10 years ago. And I remember listening to all these coaches up on stage and they're trying to sell you their program. And this is very, very typical for a conference, regardless of what industry you're in.
Right.
And I remember going up to this woman and I liked her story. And I was like, here's what's going on. I'm just really struggling. I can't send these direct mailers anymore. I don't really know what to do. What is it that you'd recommend? And she goes, just do what you say you're going to do. And I'm like, what? Did you just say like value add number 1 of who I am as a person? Do what you say you're going to do. And she's like, I promise you, you will start seeing that people don't do that. And she was not wrong.
Yeah.
Right? This is why mortgage professionals, real estate agents, insurance agents, financial planners, I'm picking on people that I interact with the most.
But it's anybody, right? Like it doesn't matter what industry you're in. A lot of people just don't do what they say they're going to do. They talk a big game and then they don't follow through.
The action is not there. And this is as simple as, hey, I'm going to send you this quick couple steps that I did to help get my book on the top 10 list, to, hey, I'm going to make this introduction to you because I think you guys could be great power partners. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. And
Right.
I'm not a fan of like, hey, it has to be done in 24 to 72 hours. I think there's some science behind it. I just disagree. I know my schedule for the next 48 hours and it stinks. There's not much extra time that I'm going to have to make these introductions. So if I'm making an introduction for you, I'm going to tell you it's going to be in your inbox by Monday at 5 p.m. and it needs to be in your inbox by Monday at 5 p.m. This is the first step in building trust outside of being curious and asking good questions and listening. But then it's not just that one step and hope that the magic still happens.
Yeah.
You have to continue to touch base with these people and not just add them to your email list and let them get automations. It's a great thing. I'm not saying that that's not part of it, but I mark people really, really easy. Your CRM system, Excel spreadsheet, Airtable, I don't care what you use to keep track of this, but just like you would keep track of prospects or clients, you also need to keep track of people that you network with.
Right.
So I mark my people really simple: A, B, C's, or nothing. A's are great energy, we vibe. There is a strong chance for us to be sending business back and forth to each other on a very regular basis. I'm going to be touching base with you every 2 to 3 weeks. And this is not just a general email. It is, hey, heard this podcast, thought it would be so beneficial to you. Give it a listen. Let's grab a drink.
Have a reason to follow up with them.
And it's simple, okay? The value add, guys, doesn't need to be this huge freebie or a quiz. It is something simple that you're doing. Hey, I saw this quote or I saw this post that you put on LinkedIn or social media. Is everything okay? Can I help support you in any way? This is giving them a grasp of that you are involved in their life. You're wanting to be in touch. It's not just sell, 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 sell. B's are great energy. I'm not sure there's a ton of overlap for our business to be on a very regular basis, but I still know I'm going to see you out and about. I still want to keep in touch. I also want to get to know your network a bit better. So now you're going to get touched with me maybe every quarter. Okay, so a personal touch every quarter. C's are, you're great. Our business, like, you are here, I am here. Like, I'm not sure that we're going to have very much overlap at all. Now we're going to get every 6 months, right? I'm going to see you out and about, but you don't need more of Sarah time quite yet, because I'm not sure that business is going to flow back and forth quite yet. And then a no designation is just, it's a no for me. They don't need to know it's a no for me. They can go into your database, they can get some automatic emails, but they're not getting any more of the magic that you have to bring. But you have to work this list weekly, just like you would work it for prospects of your business. You have to do it for networking. And that's the piece where people don't see the ROI or the efforts. Oh, I joined this networking group. I've been going and I haven't gotten anything.
Well,
And
what
my
are you
question is,
doing?
what have you been doing?
Right.
What are the efforts you have been putting in?
Yeah,
Oh, I
exactly.
just go to monthly meetings and I talk to people and it kind of feels like social hour. And I'm like, you have to work it a little bit like a business.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're walking into so I try to, explain to my sales reps, like, if you walk into a room full of business owners or a room full of, you have no idea who they are, treat it the same. Because for all you know, every single one of those people could need exactly what you have. You don't know if
Yes.
they do or they don't, right? I think prejudging someone, or even a situation, right? Like I remember when I was doing door-to-door sales, business to business, and I'd pull up to a business and it was like super run down and dirty. And I would have this oh, they're probably not doing much business. The owner's probably not here, all the things that you tell yourself. And you go in and you just screwed yourself because it was this amazing business and you kind of went in half-assed but that goes for people as well, right? Like you cannot judge a book by its cover. Do you know who Jesse Itzler is?
Mm-hmm.
So first time I met Jesse, I mean, I really thought he was he looked like a bum. He looked like a bum. And I met him, first I saw him in the bathroom and then he kind of like bumped into me outside. I was like, oh, you're good, man. And I didn't think anything of it. 2 hours later, he gets on stage and, he's married to, Sarah Blakely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Owner
Mm-hmm.
of Spanx, and he has this amazing story. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I was kicking myself. This was my first year in business. So this was 9 years ago. Or maybe a little less than 9 years ago. And like, I've never done that since. Like if somebody bumps into me, who are you? What's your name? All good. I'm finding information out about you one way or another, right? Like we're
Yes.
having a conversation. Especially at an event like that, you just have no idea who you're going to bump into. And like literally, it could have been a great opportunity that, it didn't go anywhere. But yeah, judging a book by its cover, I would say is probably the biggest because you just don't know.
You don't. And it's my biggest pet peeve. Even to this day, I can watch somebody's demeanor when somebody's like, hey, I want to introduce you to Sarah. She does residential mortgage financing. And I
Oh
watch
my
people like shoulders, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, hi, yes, I am Sarah, but I'm also all of these other things, right?
Right.
I happen to do mortgages super well with a lot of integrity,
Yeah.
but that doesn't define who I am.
Yeah.
I know I have a huge network, right? I just launched a book. I'm
Yeah.
talking on stages. Like you are cutting your nose short if you think
Yeah.
that that's just all that I am, or that's just all anybody is.
Yeah.
Because every single person has magic in them, and I have found, for the most part, 95%, everybody genuinely wants to help in some way that they can.
Yes. Yeah.
And if they don't, that's okay. That's a them thing. That's not a
Right.
you thing. You don't put
Right.
that story into your head.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to tap into it and ask them and learn how they want to help and let them help you. I
Yeah.
don't know why women struggle with this so much more than men, but I just had my mom living with me for the last 5 months. And I can't tell you how many people were like, can I bring you dinner? Can I bring you this? And I was like, badge of honor. And heck no, I've got it. And it's like, I get home and I'm like, my 3-year-old's tugging at me. This is happening. That's happening.
Right.
And I'm like, I would have killed for somebody to deliver dinner to my house tonight. And then I
Right.
started asking for it, and
Yeah.
people rise up to do it.
Yeah.
If they want that and they have the capability of doing it, they
Right.
rise up and they do it. They're not just asking
100%.
to be nice. They're
Yep.
asking because they genuinely want to help you.
Yep.
So don't be afraid to take it.
Yep. 100%. It's so funny. Like we get into these, there's like automatic, reactions that people have, right? Like when somebody's sick and it's like, if there's anything I can do, let me know. And most of the time, right, people will say, no, I'm good. I appreciate it, right? They're thankful. And then every now and then you get someone, well, actually, I need this, right? And, I think a lot of people, it throws people off nowadays, right? Where everybody's so used to ask, hey, let me know if you need anything. And then when somebody needs something, you're like, oh, shit, right? Now I've got to follow through. But I think you're right. I think 95% of people actually do care, right? And if there's something that you can do for them, or something that they need, that you could do for them, most people are going to want to do it and do it happily, right?
Yeah. And it's not
Whether it's
always
selfish or not, right? Like I do
correct.
things for people because it makes me feel good, right? Like I'm not embarrassed to say that, right? It makes me feel good helping other people, right? It's not purely
Yes.
selfish, right? I like putting a smile on people's faces and things like that, but there's also a bit of selfishness in there because it makes me feel good.
Yeah, and a lot, I think people, human nature is innately about community and giving and sharing. And
Yeah,
it's not just always about like a meal or when a tragedy happens, okay?
right.
This is about being a little vulnerable sometimes when you're having a struggle in your business. And I'm not saying go out and wave that depressive, haven't closed a deal in 3 months. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep the doors open. There's a time and a
Right,
place for those conversations. Don't get me wrong. I want you to
right,
share those. But man, I'm really struggling with IT. I need a new bookkeeper. I need a new this. I need to do that. Hey, I have somebody that I use personally, or let me keep an eye out for you. And if you start doing that, the universe will deliver. It
yeah,
will deliver an opportunity for you to make an introduction later on in life. And guess
yeah,
what? That value add that we just talked about, I don't know, 5, 10 minutes ago,
yeah.
boom, there you go. You have it. But you have to learn about what people actually need and not just do it because you think it's nice, but
Right,
do it because you care, you want to learn, and now you know if you can try to truly help solve something for
right.
somebody in a time of need, want, whatever it
You
may
know,
be.
it goes back to what you were saying earlier and actively listening, right? So really paying attention to what people are saying and what they need and how they feel and all those things. Because if you truly listen to them, you're going to know how you can help them or if you can't help them, right? Like usually in a pretty quick conversation, right?
Hmm.
Especially if you're intuitive, right? I think naturally most people are somewhat intuitive, right? You can tell if somebody's having a bad day or they're not feeling so well or, whatever it is. But yeah, I think, a big part of it is actively listening, right? At networking events, there's always those people that only want to talk about themselves. And it's like, take some time to listen, right? So like, yeah, we all want to share our story, but a lot of the times you get more out of a conversation, especially at a networking event, by listening rather than talking, right? I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I think I've
100%.
yeah, I've gotten a lot more out of like we sponsored the Best of Baltimore event
Hmm.
where they do the in the Baltimore magazine, it's like the top business in each category. And anyways, there was 1,500 business owners. It was at the Ravens Stadium. It was this huge deal. And we were the presenting sponsor. So like the main sponsor, our logo was everywhere and we were up on the Jumbotron and all that. And I had the opportunity to speak in front of 1,500 pretty big business owners. And from that talk, I think I had like two people like come up to me and ask me stuff after that. But like throughout the night from just listening to people, I had about 40 or 50 connections throughout the night from listening versus getting in front of 1,500 people and having a talk. Of me talking, it was, maybe a couple of people that were interested versus when I was listening to everybody else, I had so much more value there.
You do. And I find that it's funny. An example comes to my head all the time. I was giving a talk on networking to a specific group that I'm a part of that is really, really heavy on attorneys and CPAs. Okay.
Mhm.
Notoriously great at their craft,
Right.
not super great at humans. Not everybody. I've met some great ones. But I remember going through this whole thing. Stuff seems super simple to me. Gentleman raises his hand and he's like, how does one actively listen? And I was like, do. Back it up. What are we like? I was like, okay, so he's in cybersecurity. So I was like, talk to me about how you go through when a potential new client calls you. Do you take them through like a intake sheet?
Right.
How do you gather information to even see if you're a viable reason or
Right.
resource for them? He's like, oh, I ask questions, and I'm like, So the same thing that you're doing
Yeah,
here with your client, you're going to do the
exactly.
same thing when you're out at networking. And I know it's different because we don't now have a focus of a specific business that we're doing. And it
Right.
seems a little like ambiguous because you're like, I don't know, I could talk about all these things. Well, if you're in a room at a conference, at a networking event, you're all there for one main reason,
Yeah,
business and revenue,
yeah,
and just meeting some new people and having a larger footprint out in the
yeah,
world. So you do have a
exactly.
commonality and you can tap into that very easily. But if you can listen, I'm telling you, that goes so much farther in networking. And we were just talking about this morning, right? We all have one of these. Mine is sitting here on the desk face down. iWatches, we're all tapped into all the tech all the
Yeah,
time. The biggest thing that I could see when you are talking with people that you will lose that authenticity, that connection, is if in mid conversation, even if it's for 2 minutes, you
yeah.
stop making eye contact and you look at
And
your
look at
watch or
your
you look at
phone.
your phone.
Yep. Even
You
if it's
have,
for 1 second, it's like you don't
yes,
care enough. Something on that phone is more important than having this conversation with me.
yeah, you have
100%.
broken the physical connection
Yep.
that we have as well as that verbal connection.
Yep.
It is huge. And I'm a mom of a toddler, okay? Sometimes my phone
Right.
has to ring throughout the day or I'm
Yeah.
expecting a call. And that's okay too. If you're having coffee with somebody or a drink and you need to tell them, hey, I have to have my phone out right now because, I'm expecting a call from a doctor from
Yep.
my little guy.
Exactly.
People will be like, no problem, you've set the
Right.
tone. But if
Yeah,
you are out and
exactly.
about networking and you are on your phone looking at things intermittently, you're making your job so much harder.
Yep.
Put it on do not disturb for an hour. We're not talking the whole day.
Yep.
Go in focused, curious, work what you need to do, go in with a goal.
100%.
And my gosh, you will have so much more traction in that 45 minutes to an hour than you would in the 5 hours if we were at a conference per se, with
Yep.
interrupted things where you're stepping away, answering emails, doing all of this stuff.
Yep. Yep. Love it. So, couple questions. Is this your first book or
Yes.
awesome? Very cool. Very cool. I wrote my first book a couple of years ago and it ended up turning out great. I love your topic because it can help anybody, right? Not just business or personal or housewives or business owners. I mean, anybody and everybody has a network and needs to utilize a network, right? It's all about who you know, not what you know. Yeah, I'm super excited to read it. So a lot of our guests will have something they give to our listeners and viewers that may help them with their business or just in their life in general. What you mentioned having something that you can give away to our listeners and viewers. What do you
Yes.
tell us about that?
Yeah, so in my book, I go through a framework that'll take you through certain things and steps that you can master to really help your networking game when you're out
Mm-hmm.
there. And in there, I have AI prompts that I have created for any AI platform. Okay, I've done it in Claude,
Nice.
ChatGPT, Gemini. You can use them all interchangeably, but these prompts will help you master each of these frameworks to be an intentional networker and actually get ROI. So as a freebie, everybody can get a copy of those. We can pop them in your show notes and
Very
deliver
cool.
them to anybody that wants them. Again, they're copy and paste, but you do have to tell it a little bit about yourself. Okay,
Right.
so I give an example of my mortgage profession so you can kind of see how in depth I'm getting in them.
Right.
But you have to make it applicable to yourself because you're not going to get the right output. And
Yeah.
just a constant reminder, the first output isn't always perfect with AI, no matter how much you've trained it, paid it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to go back and forth with it. But these prompts will help you cut down your time. I did it even before we jumped on. I've listened to some podcast episodes. I just learned a little bit about you. And I just got a quick summary of who you are as a person before we even connected. Just
Right.
because I just want to know, like,
Yep.
who are you? What's your business? Who would be good people for you to know outside of all of
Right.
this? And the book itself is all out on Amazon and on Kindle. And
Awesome.
think of it as I didn't want it to be super long. It's like 168 pages. Carry
Awesome.
it in your back pocket. So I am with you, cheering you on all of the way. And so that encourages you to get out there, let the magic that you are shine, and start actually getting traction from the efforts that you're doing when it comes to networking.
Very cool. Very cool. I love it. Thank you so much. I'll make sure to include all that in the description. And Yeah. I'll also have like your contact information. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you? Is there something more that your business does? Like, do you coach people on networking
I
or
will coach people one-off. I also have my own networking group that's virtual and in person.
awesome?
That's meant for business owners 3 to 5 plus years, making a minimum of 6 figures of revenue in their business and looking to scale. Because if we don't put ourselves in rooms with
Yeah.
people that are farther along,
Yeah.
we don't advance as business owners. And
Absolutely.
my goal with that is to get us to actually have the hows answered to scale,
Right.
the hows answered to hire, this, that, this, that. And a lot of networking groups just don't have that kind of next step.
Right.
So my website is sarah-hubbard.com. I'm also on Instagram at Sarah Ann Flann,
Cool.
FLANN. It's part of my maiden name that I can't part ways with. And I'm also on
We'll put all
LinkedIn.
the links to your socials
Yeah.
in the description as well.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Sarah. Can't wait to check out your book, and I'm looking forward to seeing those prompts. And
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a good networker, but I don't care what anybody says. You can always be better.
Always
Always.
have room for improvement. Always.
100%.